From the Detroit Free Press in the heart of the Motor City, it's Monday, September 16th. Here are today's top stories.
For the Detroit Free Press Auto Team, I'm Jamie LaRue. Some 46,000 union workers at General Motors plants across the country walked off the job at midnight. The nationwide strike is the first since 2007. The union's contract with GM expired at midnight Saturday with no new deal. The UAW said wages, health care benefits, temporary employees, job security, and profit sharing remain issues. But GM said it's offered to make $7 billion in U.S. investments and to create 5,400 jobs, along with offering wage increases and other benefits. The impasse needs to be resolved in short order, labor experts say. GM has enough inventory to survive a strike for a few weeks, but beyond that, it gets painful and could cost GM up to $400 million a day. But UAW workers say they're prepared to live on strike wages of $250 a week for however long it takes.
This is Teresa Baldus with the Detroit Free Press. Doctors are supposed to be healers and do no harm. But the feds say it's the doctors, Michigan's doctors in particular, who are fueling the nation's opioid epidemic. And so they're going after them, locking them up in record numbers as part of a broader effort to end a crisis that's killing 130 Americans every day. Over the last decade, more than 100 Michigan doctors have been charged and convicted with crimes that made them money, lots of money. When they thought no one was looking, the doctors wrote phony prescriptions for painkillers, billed the government for millions, and then let dealers sell the drugs on the street. But the feds caught on. Over the last decade, more than 100 doctors and pharmacists have been convicted and sentenced in opioid schemes. Every month, one Michigan doctor goes to prison for fraud. The Detroit area, it turns out, is one of the nation's biggest hotspots for healthcare fraud, and so the feds have planted a bullseye on the region. And they believe they're making progress. While locking up the doctors, federal prosecutors have saved Michigan more than $500 million in Medicare costs, all by gutting the corruption. To read my full investigation, please visit freep.com.
This is John Gallagher of the Detroit Free Press reporting that Detroit's Greektown district hopes to recapture some of its old magic. At one time, the colorful strip of Greek restaurants, coffee shops, and retailers ranked high among Detroit's destinations. But as the city's other districts thrived in recent years, Greektown did not keep up. Now a new Greektown neighborhood partnership plans to seek new housing, more public park spaces, some funky art installations, and new retailers, all while keeping the district's heritage. In other words, keeping that Greek in Greektown. More details to come this Wednesday at the unveiling of the plan.
This is Paul Egan reporting for the Detroit Free Press from the state capitol in Lansing. Do you play the lottery? Have you ever cashed a winning ticket and felt you were paid less than it should have been worth? The Michigan Lottery has an 8-person security unit that will investigate such concerns. The Free Press used the Freedom of Information Act to get information about retailers whose licenses were suspended or revoked. One Detroit store owner scratched his way through 28 packs of instant game tickets. If the cost of the tickets was more than the value of the prizes, he reported the pack missing. If not, he paid for the tickets and tried to claim the prizes. He lost his license and got hit with a nearly $15,000 penalty.
For the Free Press, I'm opinion writer Nancy Kaffer, and we should really talk about dangerous dogs. In the last 4 years, 2 Detroit children have been fatally mauled by dogs. In both cases, they weren't strays. The dogs had owners. So this seems like a problem we can solve. But to get good solutions, it's important to understand the problem. And animal experts say it's a big problem when dogs don't spend time around humans. If your dog spends its time tied up in a yard, it may not know how to react to people, especially kids or seniors. Detroit Animal Control needs more resources to respond to dangerous dogs, and pet owners may need help securing, training, or socializing their dogs. Groups like the Michigan Humane Society offer assistance to pet owners, like vet care or pet food. But the director of the Humane Society told me, if your dog is for self-defense or protection only, it's not a pet. It's a weapon. and that means someone could get hurt.
This is Free Press Sports Editor Chris Thomas, and here's what we're talking about after the Detroit Lions' nail-biting victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. The Lions' offense regressed for 3 quarters on Sunday before Matthew Stafford connected with Kenny Galladay on a go-ahead touchdown. It was Detroit's only lead of the game, and it was sealed when Darius Slay intercepted Phillip Rivers in the end zone in the final minutes. 1-0-1. That's the Lions' record after what felt like a must-win game. The schedule gets tough in a hurry starting this week when the Lions travel to Philadelphia. Then in Week 4, they come home to play Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Lions won't be favored in either of those games, which means that Slay's interception on Sunday could end up looming large as the Lions try to get into the thick of the playoff chase later this season.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. And sign up for the daily briefing newsletter. See you tomorrow.